Alright, so in the previous video we talked about the body association technique. In this video I am going to teach you 3 specific ways of using this body association technique as a standalone technique to solve specific issues. The first one is something we already touched on, which is when something never really goes away or if the same emotion keeps coming back again and again. So for example, it would apply if you've been working on an emotion but you realize that even though it's better now, it's less intense or less frequent, these emotions still show up in different moments in your life and it's never really gone. So in that case, it might be useful to try and sense if there is a body association on that emotion. And obviously do it on the negative emotions that are the most present in our life. So, for example, I was working with a woman recently and I was asking her, what would you want to change in your life? And she says, anger. I'm always angry. And it's always out of proportion, and it's always at the moment where I wouldn't want to feel this way. And I don't know why, but it keeps coming back that I'm always angry. So the first thing we did before working on specific situations was to work with body associations, because this anger was a general problem that was always showing up in different moments of her life. And once we've done the body associations, then she had much less anger, and when she had, it was in specific moments for specific reasons, so we worked on that with normal tapping. But think about it, what are the most common negative emotions that you're experiencing in your life that keeps coming back or that are often present, and apply this technique on them. A second application of the body association technique are critical voices. So we all have an inner dialogue. We are always talking to ourselves and thinking, and sometimes this way of talking to ourselves is positive because it's oriented towards solutions, and sometimes it's negative and critical. And it's really staggering how many people have those negative voices in their head that keeps telling them, you're lame, you can do this, you're stupid, or don't do this, or look at that. And sometimes there's a lot of guilt or shame associated with this negative self-dialogue. Now, most people would think that this is normal to have that, and this is common for everybody, and it's supposed to be this way, and it's normal, but in fact it's not. And we can prove it by eliminating those negative voices. So I use the word voices because it's easier to identify, because those thoughts are like, it's like having a little demon or little parrot that always says the same negative sentence. So for example, you might criticize yourself in certain situation, and you can realize that there is like a voice at the back of your head that's always saying you can succeed, or whatever the case is. So if you can identify something like that, then first ask yourself, where is that sentence in my head or around my head? I know it seems strange, but most people would place a thought somewhere in space. So is it in the center of the head? Is it above the head? Is it behind the head? Is it completely on the left or on the right? There is a place from which this same sentence keeps repeating itself in some situations. Once you've identified where is that sentence, that negative voice, then you will feel that at the same location in space there is an emotion. So for example, let's say that I've identified that there is a critical thought that says you're stupid, and this thought is actually on top of my head. So if I focus my attention there, I might notice that there is an emotion that is exactly at the same location than the voice is. And very often this emotion will be the same emotion that the voice has as a tone, or the opposite of the tone. For example, if I have a voice saying you're stupid, it might be that I'm thinking you're stupid in an angry way, as if I'm repeating the sentence that is the person of somebody who was angry. And the emotions that I will find might be anger itself, just like the voice has a tone of anger, or it might be fear, as if I'm afraid that somebody angry is shouting at me. So feel what the emotion is and then use the body association technique on it. Oh yes, that anger is present. So you tap. And you keep doing the tapping until there is no more anger. Might take 2 or 3 minutes, or maybe a bit more. You repeat with the other hand, and then notice at the place where the critical thought was, it should now be silent and spacious and calm. And if you repeat it on the 3, 4, 5 critical thoughts that you have most of the time, you might notice that, wow, I feel more relaxed now. I don't have this critical thinking always nagging at me. And that's an improvement of your quality of life. So I encourage you to practice it. Now, a third application of body association technique is when you realize that you have around you in your life people that are bringing you negative situations. For example, you might notice that you are surrounded by angry people, and you have the tendency to be picking up friends or romantic partners as people who are angry, and you wonder, why is everybody angry? And what actually might be happening is that there is an unconscious drive for a part of your body awareness to surround itself with this emotion of anger. And so when you meet somebody who's angry, maybe there is a part of you which will be more attracted to that person. And it shows up especially in situations of manipulation or toxic relationship or any kind of conflict or negative things that keeps repeating itself between you and people. So you might even think about, what kind of people am I attracted to? And it might not be obvious, but if you close your eyes and think about those people, you might notice that there is an emotion that they all have in common, and this emotion might be something negative that is a problem. So for example, if I'm attracted to angry people, I'm not going to realize that at first glance. But if I close my eyes and think about all my friends, I realize, well, actually they all have some anger at some level. Okay, so you've identified an emotion that probably you have an association with. So subconsciously, you keep surrounding yourself with people with that emotion. Now, obviously, you also choose people based on a lot of other factors, which some of them are positive factors, obviously. But the more you free yourself from those body associations, the more freedom you will have to choose people which are completely positive and don't have those negative tendencies. And it's an easy way to improve your relationships and to improve your quality of life is to work on the kind of people that you surround yourself with. And after you've done the body associations, you might notice that you make different choices. Or maybe you will make the same choices because these choices are good. But in any case, there is no counter-indication in doing body associations. Quite the opposite. The more you do them, the freer you become. So if you're attracted by angry people, you sense that anger in them and you put it in the hand in a crumpled paper bag. And if it becomes present or heavy, you know that, okay, there is an association. And you can start working on it. So 3 easy applications. So again, good practice, and if you have any questions, feel free to send them to me and I would be happy to answer them. But in any case, have a good practice and good success.